It will certainly be a happy new year for Clemson Tiger fans. I'm thinking those who made the trip down here to Miami may be partying long into tonight because their team, the #1 team in the country, used a great second half to crush Oklahoma 37-17, and they will be heading to the national championship game. Yeah, Brad, I usually don't like to make it about myself, at least when I'm on TV, but I happened to wander over to the par 3 contest a few minutes ago. Third shot I saw out there, 80-year-old Gary Player hitting a hole-in-one on number 7. Unbelievable stuff. Everyone excited, obviously, to see the big game coming up. And then just in about 3.5 hours from now, right behind me in Sun Life Stadium, that's where Clemson and Oklahoma will play in the Orange Bowl, berth in the national championship game on the line. Anyone watching the game has probably noticed that the socks the players are wearing are a little different than the ones they usually wear. You take a look right here. A little bit longer, a little redder, a little wider. Well, these are Ronald McDonald socks, of course. They're wearing them to represent the Ronald McDonald House, of course, a big charity, big part of today's game. They just opened up their new house after 30 years. Legendary college basketball coach Roy Williams today called this the best basketball tournament ever in the summer. I am, of course, live at the Peach Jam at Riverview Park Activity Center in North Augusta. The event back for a 21st year. Well, one of the coolest parts of the Drive, Chip, and Putt Championship is getting to hit a putt on 18. Well, how about hitting a putt on 18 to win the championship Masters style? That's exactly what 13-year-old Kayla Sam did.
Now, sports coverage you can count on.
That look on Lonisha Lee's face is what March Madness is all about, pure joy, after making an amazing shot for North Augusta in a state playoff game. In the end, Mark Richt just didn't meet those expectations of Georgia fans and apparently athletic director Greg McGarity either. And after 15 seasons, 145 wins, and 2 SEC championships, Richt and the Bulldogs, as McGarity put it in a release, are mutually parting ways. Apparently the Braves are out of ideas. They're now trading the same player to the same team. Yes, they sent utility man Kelly Johnson to the Mets for the 2nd straight year, this time for a minor league pitcher. They actually traded him to New York last year, only to re-sign him this past offseason. If you're wondering what Spieth did last night to get mentally ready for today, he said he watched the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall because he says it's one of the greatest movies in the world. It's a good movie. I don't know about greatest in the world. A great and humbling experience. That's how Augusta University basketball player Keyshawn Sherrill described his recent taste of military life at Fort Gordon. He's hopeful that experience will help him be a better person off the court and leader on it.
Better.
For 28 hours, Jaguars All-American guard Keyshawn Sherrill traded in his basketball uniform for an Army one.
Yeah. Go.
All right.
Go.
Let's go, GRU.
Sherrill and several other local residents, including WJBS Julie Parisi, spent 28 hours at Fort Gordon.
Let's go.
As part of the Augusta in Army Boots program, designed in part to teach civilians about the sacrifices soldiers make.
I've always wondered, how the military life works.
Sherrill and the others got to learn firsthand about vehicle rollover training, walking information,
Right. Lay up.
and military combat. And Sherrill learned a couple of other things as well, such as what an MRE is.
It's meals ready to eat, and you have to pour the water in there, put the bag within the box, and then next thing you know, it's cooking. It was actually pretty good, though. It was pretty good.
No crawl's good.
He also learned the ability to shower whenever you want is an underappreciated luxury.
I told you we had to crawl through some muddy water. It was sandy, and then I'm thinking, because we're gonna take a shower that night before we get into the, before we go to bed. We didn't. So I had to sleep with the same, underwear that you crawled through the mud. I had to sleep with that on. And I was talking to the lieutenant that was over the whole program, and he said the longest he went without bathing when he got deployed was 27 days.
These inconveniences are obviously just a small part of what soldiers go through. And Sherrill says he gained a much greater appreciation for all they do to keep the rest of us safe.
You have millions of soldiers risking their lives every day, leaving their families, their wives, their children, going to protect us, doing what they do so we can do what we do. I'm being able to play this game of basketball because of what they're doing to protect our country.
And Sherrill, who's now a junior and one of the leaders of what will be a young Jaguars basketball team this year, says a lot of the lessons he learned out at Fort Gordon can translate onto the basketball court.
Teamwork and communication, which I be preaching to the guys all the time on the court. I feel myself as a leader, but it's always things that I could learn, and that's one thing I've learned from the experience. It was a great experience for me. It truly was.
In some great timing, the Jaguar men's and women's basketball teams both play host to the All-Army teams in an exhibition doubleheader to tip off the seasons this Sunday. Well, we've got another young golfer in the area who just might see making his way to tournaments like the U.S. Junior Am or maybe even bigger. We'll just have to wait about a decade or so on this one.
My name is Sevi Perez Martinez. I'm 6 years old. I've been playing golf since I was 2 years old, and I love golf.
Yes, at just 6 years old, just 4 years into his golf career, young Zevi Perez has become quite the phenom. In just the last month, he won 2 big tournaments, the Georgia State Invitational and the Carolina State Invitational 6 and under divisions. Of course, this is nothing new for Zevi.
I won tournaments at 2 years old, 4 years old, and now 6 years old.
On most days, you'll find him putting in work at Jones Creek Golf Club in Evans, and that's where he caught the attention of PGA teaching pro Doug Cameron.
Well, I first saw him 6 to 8 weeks ago, and he was hitting balls, and I was actually watching Vaughn Taylor, and then I saw this little boy just a few feet away from him, and all of a sudden my attention shifted to him.
Good swing.
Sevi introduced himself to me and took his hat off and shook my hand, and I thought, wow, what a little gentleman he is. And I was intrigued by him from his golf swing. I mean, he has a fantastic golf swing. Ever since then, we've been working together, and I'm trying to refine it and see how far he can go, because the sky's the limit. He's extremely talented.
As you might expect, living here in the Augusta area, Zevi dreams of one day playing in the Masters, and he says he looks up to players like Danny Willett and Jordan Spieth. Cameron says his swing, especially at this age, is right up there with the best of them. And guess what? Something else is at the highest level too, Zevi's confidence. Just listen to this.
What's the best part of your game?
The best part is the driving, chipping, and putt.
So you're good at all.
Yeah, I'm good at all. Sometimes I miss a putt, but next hole, I'll recover and get like a eagle or a par or a birdie.
All right, now golf is pretty hard for the rest of us.
Yes.
Is it ever hard for you?
No, it's easy.
Now, there's another amazing aspect to Zevi's story. His mom was actually diagnosed with cancer while she was pregnant with Zevi. For a while, they weren't sure if he would even make it. Both are doing great now. We have a link to the great story Chris Kane did on the Perez family 2 years ago when Zevi was only 4, and of course, already a great golfer. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.